.45 ACP. Real cartridges for real men. The Ruger American pistol in .45 ACP. Let's do a first 100. Okay, so if you follow my antics, and if you do, I apologize. If you follow my antics, then you may know that a few years ago I picked up a Ruger SR45 and had lots of trouble with it. Basically, it sits in a box called unshootable right now. So, last year when the new Ruger American pistol came out, I kind of raised an eyebrow and gave it a look, and I said, that's very interesting. I'd like to try it in .45 because .45 is a caliber I really enjoy shooting, and a gun that big might as well be in a big caliber. So I finally got around to picking up the Ruger American pistol in .45 ACP. You've probably already seen quite a bit about it. I'm certainly not the first kid on the block to have the Ruger American pistol, but I am going to put it through its paces. Today, we're going to do a first 100 with it, maybe a few more depending on how things go, maybe a few less depending on how things go. But the problems I had with the Ruger SR45, do I think that's indicative of the brand? No, I don't. And that's why I'm anxious to get out here with the Ruger American pistol in .45, put a first 100 through it. So let's get started. All right, here we go. Ruger American, .45 ACP. I'm about 10 yards away from my target. Let's just break it in a little bit. I'm not even going to be worried about too much accuracy. I just want to get a feel for the gun. Looks like it's a point of aim center hold, point of aim, point of impact. The magazines are 10 rounds, in case you didn't know. It's got a nice sight picture. All right, opened that group up a little bit, didn't I? All right, let's put these next 10 rounds of Remington UMC, by the way, shooting the Remington upper middle class ammo. Let's put these next 10 rounds at the head of the target. We got a clean spot there. Let's see if we can't make a nice fist-sized group in the middle of it. Again, I'm at 10 yards. Got some nice sun behind me. Lighten up those sights real good. Making the target hard to see against that berm, though. The trigger is nice. It's got an interesting break. It's a squishy break, so you kind of are surprised every time anyway. but it's not a bad trigger at all. No, not a bad trigger at all. It's like I say, it's a little squishy, but it has a nice break. I like it. And the reset is a little bit long compared to a lot of pistols in its class, but no, not bad. I think it's an improvement over the SR series triggers. They were a little crisper, but they were also a little bit stiffer. Well, so far, we're not very far into it. We're 30 rounds in, but it's shooting very nice. It's functioning very nice, which is important. Man, I like a gun that goes bang. The Ruger American pistols do come with replaceable back straps, so you can change the size somewhat to fit your hand, or as close as you can get it. This one, oddly enough, comes with two, but there's a place, and just as a quick aside mention, does come in a plastic case as opposed to the cardboard box that we're used to from Ruger. But even though there are spots for 2 additional back straps, there was only 1 additional provided with the gun. So basically, at least in the 45 ACP, it comes with a medium and a large. Those are your options. Medium is the one that's on the gun, but I'll show you how to change it. It's pretty easy. They provide you this little tool. It looks like an Allen wrench, but it's not. It's one of those little Torx things. It's kind of a star pattern. Right in the back, there's like a little keyhole. You can see it there. You'll see a close-up of that later. Insert your wrench, and you make about 1/4 of a turn counterclockwise. Whoops. Can't tell if I'm seated. Okay, should be alright. And then you just want to put downward pressure. You want to slide it straight down. I've still got the mag in. You can take the mag out, but you don't have to. So you just want to slide it straight down and then lift it off. It's pretty easy. So to put the new one on, you just reverse the process. You just start a little bit low, and then guide it up and slide it up to the top. And that's it. And then you would tighten that by turning it to the right or clockwise about 1/4 of a turn with the tool, and you'd be done. So it's pretty simple. This one's a little too big for my hands, so I'm taking it back off. So see that? I did all that just to show you how it works. That's the kind of guy I am. So I put that one back on, put my tool in, turn it and lock it, and you can feel it hit the spot where you want it to stop. That's it. That's all there is to it. Okay, I've got 15 rounds of Remington UMC left in that original box of 50. Let me see if I can get a little bit of accuracy out of this pistol. At 10 yards, I've freshened my target with a cover that has 1 inch square. So I've got a 1 inch square in the body of the target. I'm gonna go for that. I'm gonna use a center hold. I'm gonna just try and perch that 1 inch square right at the top of my sight. It helps when you have an initial point to aim at. That's not a bad group offhand at 10 yards. With a new gun, still shooting Freedom Munitions, 230 grain, full metal jacket. Through the Ruger American pistol in 45 ACP. Now, one of the things that I know some people have had trouble with, you know, I remember watching Military Arms Channel when this gun first came out in 9mm, and they were complaining about the width of the back and how it was beaten against the thumb knuckle. I do remember that, and I remember I think even Hickok 45 gave that a little bit of a nod in terms of being an issue. So I was actually very curious about how that was going to feel to me, because I have pretty small to medium-sized hands. I don't have, you know, the orangutan hands that those two in particular have. So I thought, wow, this might be an even bigger problem for me. And it turns out, not really. I can show you my knuckle on my thumb. I might do that later, just to do a close-up, and you can see that that's pretty worn. But I kind of have a callus there anyway, because my hands are small enough that most guns, even Glocks and some M&Ps and things like that, will sort of beat me on that knuckle to the point where I've just gotten used to it. And that's just part of shooting, as far as I'm concerned. It's a refreshing thing when I get a gun like a 1911 that doesn't do that. So that's kind of my thought at this point on that. Now, I haven't even put a full 100 rounds through this thing yet, so that certainly could change. But at this point in time, I understand what they're talking about. I get it, but not as big a deal for me, because I guess I'm just used to it. All right, let's keep shooting this thing, and I'll keep telling you what I think about it. It handles the recoil pretty well, but it's a good sized gun, you know, it's a full size 45 here. What I'm impressed with mostly right now are two things. I'm impressed with the accuracy. This is a very accurate pistol, and I'm impressed with the reliability of it so far. It's functioning absolutely perfectly. The magazines drop easily and free. The mag release buttons work extremely well. They are ambidextrous. You can do it with your index finger if you want, or your thumb traditionally. Slide stop works perfectly. Slide locks back like it's supposed to. Slide stop is easy to release the slide forward. I like the controls a lot. I like the size, the grip. I still haven't made up my mind fully on how I like the grip. Talked about the knuckle thing. Yeah, I feel it, but you know, it's not the only gun that does that to me. I like the sights. I like the sight picture. I like the feel of the gun in terms of balance and weight. I think this might be the Ruger 45 I've been looking for. The gun feels real controllable to me in terms of recoil. Even with one hand, I'm not feeling much in the way of punishing recoil. Also, the muzzle lift doesn't appear to be to really be that much either. Sometimes I'll be surprised when I go and I start editing this footage, and I'll see that, wow, that muzzle was lifting a lot higher than I thought. And a lot of times that's the case, because you can't change physics. So the same energy is gonna happen no matter what kind of gun you're shooting. But some guns give you the perception of shooting flatter because they snap back on target so quick, and this might be one of those, because it doesn't feel like that muzzle lift is very high at all. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah. So just under 6 pounds, 5 pounds 13.5 ounces, and that corresponds pretty well with what my fingers are telling me. let me show you this. It's easier to show you this here at the workbench than it is out at the range. So you can see we have our trigger safety, of course. We're used to those. Alright, take up. That much. That's not too bad. A little bit of take up, and then you don't really have a solid wall. It's a pretty squishy wall. It's like a wall made out of wrestling mats. And then a nice break. It's not super crisp. Again, it's a little bit of a squishy break on the trigger, but it feels nice. And then our reset comes out to there. It's a little bit long, not terrible, but then there's some take up before we're back to the squishy wall. So there it is. Well, I lied to you. I'm sorry, man. I try never to do that. But I actually have 10 rounds left of the Remington UMC. So, kind of happy about that. Same, up to the head. Another fresh 1-inch square. Okay, not bad. Not quite as good as the first group, but not bad. It's an easy gun to shoot accurately, I think. That's some guns you can shoot them accurately, but it's hard. You got to work at it. This gun is pretty easy to shoot accurately. It's got a little bit of weight to it, so if you're taking slow shots, you know, eventually there's some fatigue from holding it out there for a while, but it's got a nice long sight radius, so that's good. That helps. The sight picture is good. It definitely likes center hold, so point of aim, point of impact, certainly at 10 yards, and I would think probably even out to, say, 25. Trigger is good. Again, the stroke is a little longer than I would like, but it is what it is. It's a good feeling trigger. It doesn't irritate my finger at all. It feels comfortable. It feels like the range of motion is where it should be. And there's actually a bit of a flatness to the trigger. The trigger's put it here where you can see it against that sand. But there's a bit of a straightness to the trigger face, and as you bring it back in its motion, you know, it's almost like a little bit of a flat trigger. So that's kind of nice. All right, I'm out of Remington. I guess I'll switch over to some Freedom. So I've got a box of 50 Freedom munitions. 50 and 50 is 100. To try and ease your boredom a little bit, I'm going to try and give you a little bit of a different angle. Try and do the over-the-shoulder thing, which is really hard to do when you are your own camera operator. Because when the camera's behind me, I can't see what it sees. So just to do it a little different, let's give that a try. This is going to be Freedom munitions. 10 rounds to the body. there you go. Wrapping it up for the first 100, Ruger American 45 ACP. Actually, I got 2 more magazines of 10, which will bring me to exactly 150 rounds. So this was definitely a bonus first 100 for me, hopefully for you. I have to say that probably the best way I can sum it up, this is the 45 ACP full-size pistol that I've been waiting for from Ruger. Absolutely. I like a lot about it. There's a couple little things, you know, the grip maybe could be a little more ergonomic, but the pistol functions exactly like it's supposed to. It is reliable and it seems like it would be very dependable. It seems to be more accurate than I'm capable of shooting it. Once again, good sights, good trigger. I put 3 different kinds of ammo through it today, including my own, and it feeds, fires, and ejects everything without any kind of flaw, any kind of hesitation. It has been completely perfect, and well, like I say, this is the gun that is, in my eyes, redeeming Ruger for the very unfortunate experiences that I've had with the SR45. So the SR45, I will kiss that one goodbye, and I will say hello very happily to the American pistol.